Well, hello everybody. Behind me is what is traditionally known as Absalom's tomb. Probably not David's son Absalom, his tomb, but we are here in what is known as the Valley of Jehoshaphat. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but what I want to talk about first is what we experienced just a couple days ago on Ramadan. If you saw on Friday, I did a live from the Mount of Olives and talked about that. But anyway, when we came down from the Mount of Olives, what happened is we were coming in down the southern side, which is this side of the wall. We were coming down right over here, and we were getting near to what is called the Dung Gate. And at the Dung Gate, actually, they stopped us in between the Dung Gate and the Zion Gate. And they said there's a suspicious package and told us to turn around. There waiting on the bomb squad. And so we had to hike back up and go through the city. And we had never seen so much presence of military, police, and everything for Ramadan. And so we came out what is known as the Lion's Gate, went over to the garden, went up on the Mount of Olives, came back down, which I'm telling you right now, the hike up to the Mount of Olives is a treacherous hike. You know, take a bus, taxi. I'm just throwing that out there if you ever come here. But anyway, we went up, came back down, and went into the Lion's Gate. Now, they are estimating that something around 300,000 Muslims came to the Temple Mount on Friday. And here was 3 white guys and 1 Mexican, because we had David with us who's at the house, and he's not offended that I call him a Mexican. He's over here laughing at me right now. But walking in with probably 10,000 plus Muslims into the Lion's Gate, shoulder to shoulder, I mean, crazy. I'd never experienced anything like that. It was just super intense. We were at peace. There was no, worry because, at the bottom I looked up, saw all those people, and I'm like, God, I'll go in a different way. But anyway, we walked in. They all turned left immediately to go up onto the Temple Mount, and we went straight ahead, went and got some lunch, and then came out and was trying to get out the Damascus Gate to go over to the Garden Tomb, and once again found ourselves in a sea of Muslims leading. So I'm just telling you, when you triple the white population among 15,000 Muslims, it's pretty interesting, So anyway, that is what our experience was on there. And then we just came down. We were up on the Temple Mount. It was crazy. I'm gonna post a video later from there that I took starting at the Golden Gate where Jesus would have came in. I talked about that on the other video where Jesus would have came in on the triumphal entry, and then I took you right up to the temple and then take you over to show you some of the stone that dates back to First Temple time. And not only that, but if you measure it all the way back over to the Golden Gate, you will find that it's exact measurements that is mentioned in the Word of God. So anyway, where are we right now? But let me say this about the Temple Mount. The moment, you go through security and you got to walk up this bridge to get up on there. The moment we took the turn and started walking in, it was the presence of God. You could feel it. Get up on the Temple Mount, presence of God is there. It's amazing because you think about religions colliding right there, but yet God spoke to Solomon and he said that he would put his name there forever. The name Jehovah, the name Yehovah, that it is on that Temple Mount forever, that it is in Jerusalem. He put it on the city forever, that this is a place that is called. That's why there's a new city, Jerusalem, that will be coming, that this is a place. That's why I was never feared in the sea of people, because I am a person that it says, and you'll find this where he says he puts his name there forever in 2 Chronicles 7, I think 15, 16, after if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways. It's right in there. And he says, I'll put my name there forever. And so it has just been an incredible experience there. I know that on the east coast of America, it's like 3:30 in the morning right now. It's 10:30 here. But so some of you will be catching this on the replay, but that was just our, but I'm telling you, the Temple Mount was the masses of area it covered, because you think that there were millions of people that would come 3 times a year. when during the Jewish holidays, back when they had that in Second Temple times and different things like that. And so, that was an incredible experience. But here we are talking about where we are. As you saw there, as I said, that we are in currently the Valley of Decision. And like I said, this is traditionally known as Absalom's tomb. And if it really was his, then that would have been back there is where his family would have been buried. Most likely not his tomb. I think it only dates back to about Second Temple times, where Absalom would have been First Temple times. So, all right, give me your phone. You already put it away. I'm telling you, it's hard to find good help these days. All right, so I'm going to read a verse for you here out of the book of Joel, chapter 3, verses 1, starting at 1. For behold, in those days, at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all the nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, right in this area where we're standing. I mean, it's rather big. This is not the only place, but this is what the word of God says. And he says, I will enter into judgment with them there on behalf of my people and my heritage Israel, because they have scattered them among the nations and have divided up their land. So there is a time coming, and it's coming quickly, that the word of God right there says that in this valley, in the Kidron Valley, where we are currently, that there is a time coming when God is going to gather all the people here. Now, you can't really see it here, but let me turn this around. Up there, on top of there, all the way up at top, there are tombs. And I believe it's mostly Muslims. And then over here, let me just walk up just a little bit here, and I want to show you this, because this is the Valley of Decisions here. This Valley of Jehoshaphat. It is incredible when you see this. Now, obviously, as I've shown you before, up there is the Mount of Olives all the way top. But if you see right in front of me, this is more tombs, and then up over top of that, at the Mount of Olives, more tombs, and then over there's more tombs. Why? Because they believe that this is where the resurrection will start. When in Jewish, when the Messiah comes, that this is where the resurrection will start. It'll start here, and they'll be here quickest. So everybody, that wants to be buried here. So pretty incredible. Now, I think I'm going to try and walk over here to another site that they claim, but isn't really it. How far is that over there, David? Just around the corner? Okay. Where they kind of say Joseph, Jesus's earthly father, so to speak, was buried, and also Zedekiah, the father of John the Baptist. Again, probably not. It's amazing how much collision there is between reality, fact, what the Bible actually says, which you have a lot here, but then also the fact of tradition. So showing you that Absalom's tomb, tradition, and people ought to have a lot of what's the word I want to use? A lot of feelings about that. When we were in the church where the Garden of Gethsemane, they've got the stone there. I mean, people are weeping and rubbing on that, which is so interesting. It's just tradition. But this is pretty incredible. Let me flip this around here for a second and show you this one. This is another tomb, just carved right out of the rock. And there's some tombs up underneath there. We'll walk up there. So, once again, another tomb. Like I said, they say things like this would have been maybe, they want to say John the Baptist, give him props. And then also I've heard possibly Joseph. But that really dates back to about 300. So. So anyway, got some other people up here. But definitely tombs. So what's that say, David? So this is actually who died here, even though they want to put buried here. Like I said, showing you the grave there. But all this down here in the Valley of Decision, like I said, where the book of Joel, or as my son is named after, Yoel, talks about how God's going to gather everybody here to this valley, to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and judge them for how they treated his people, how they sold them off into other lands, how they took their land. And I'd be very careful, but I guess they don't really think that's going to happen, so they don't have to worry about that, being very careful. Paul's up here representing the Bengals. Had to show that, got the Bengals right there. Yeah. Hey, Miss Gay, now how you feeling? I see you on there. At least you popped up. I'm assuming that's you. Ooh, yeah, get that flashlight going. Doesn't do much, does it? No. But these are definitely tombs. People would have definitely been buried in here. Just interesting stuff.
That's creepy.
I mean, who knows how many people might have been buried up in here. So, lots of openings and stuff. Anyway, so that is that. So I'm gonna post a video later from up on the Temple Mount. I didn't do a live up there, but I'm gonna post a video from up there later on the page. And let's flip this back over. But anyway, here we are in the Valley of Decision. And so, it's pretty amazing just seeing these things, knowing what the Word of God says. You can't go anywhere. I can show you this right over here. If you see this guy over here up on the wall, let me zoom in on him. Those are cameras. You can't go anywhere without having cameras around. So anyway, wanted to bring you down here is just another place here in the Kidron Valley where God is going to judge people for the way they treated. I look at this place right here. This is kind of like the center of the universe. What happens here, so goes the world. So this is possibly our last live from Israel. We're going to start our trek home tomorrow. But anyway, hope you have enjoyed these. Hope you enjoyed that and that crazy story about what we experienced on Ramadan on Friday. So anyway, till next time, we love you guys. We'll see you then.